advantage of the opportunity. But right now is about right now.
The Plan B, Ohio State Buckeyes!
Give everything you got in your heart to this place.
Hello and welcome to Rushing the Field, presented by Xfinity. He's Joshua Perry. I'm Nicole Auerbach. We're going to talk some Week 10 action. We saw a couple top 10 teams go down, but it's November football. It feels a little different. The stakes feel a little bit bigger. Would you agree?
I think the weather's a little bit different. Some of these guys out there shivering today. I do think the stakes feel different. I also feel like we learned more today than we had in the past.
Did we?
Like, I think there was more traction with some of the results that we're seeing right now.
It actually felt like we learned something about Ohio State, which is a weird thing to say because Penn State's having such a down year and this game was not the marquee matchup that we thought it was going to be. But it feels like it has maybe catapulted Julian Sayin's Heisman candidacy to a different level. Like, doesn't it matter what he did against elite defenders, like guys that are going to be playing on Sundays?
I think it does. And again, like, we can go through the stats here. He's been phenomenal all year. It's just the moments that people have watched him. So 20 for 23, it's 87%, 316 yards, 4 touchdowns, no picks. He also went for 393 against Wisconsin and 4 touchdowns the last time that we saw him. These are gaudy numbers, and he's doing it a lot of different ways. When the defenses are playing deep, he's distributing the ball, letting the wide receivers run. When he gets the one-on-one matchups, he has been lethal, throwing the ball 20, 30, 40 yards down the football field. So he looks phenomenal. I think he should be more in the Heisman conversation. Another guy, just as an aside, he's playing right now, Trinidad Chambliss as well.
Oh, yeah, you're trying to push him into the Heisman race.
Well,
now.
I mean, you look at the stat profile and what he's doing, and I think most guys with that stat profile, and Ole Miss is a team that feels like it's squarely in the playoff right now, they would be like a shoo-in for the Heisman ceremony, and he's not. But Julian Sayin, not nearly enough hype for the quarterback of the number 1 team with those numbers.
Okay, can I tell you my theories why?
Let's hear it.
I think that there's probably a lot of people who have not actually watched him play much since they beat Texas.
I tend to agree with
So
that.
they saw like an offense that looks so different than Ohio State has right now. It's so much more open. We were talking early in the season, hey, can they be explosive in the pass game? Now it's like, hey, they seem to be able to do that on demand. Now, can they run the ball? Like, we got other questions. But he is the most accurate passer in the country. His completion percentage is better than everyone else in FBS by 7 percentage points. And
ridiculous.
He's super accurate on the deep ball, too. Really interesting quote from Julian Sayin after the win over Penn State. He said, we don't want to be reckless, but we want to be aggressive. And it feels like they're doing that. And it helps to have Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate. But, like, if you have any of them close to one-on-one coverage, I trust Julian Sayin, and I trust who's ever going to catch the ball.
Yeah, I mean, he's been putting it up, and those guys have been coming down with it. And I think that might also have been one of the reasons why people were slow to put him in the Heisman race
Because
as well.
of the receivers.
Yeah, they're like, oh, well, Carnell Tate's out there just balling, and Jeremiah's out there just balling, which is true. But you cannot dispute the numbers. In watching the games, he's much better now of distributing the ball when there is anything open down the field. Much better at stepping up in the pocket and extending plays and using his legs when necessary. Really high-level quarterbacking. My one concern for Ohio State right now is the run game. It wasn't great. They had a big run, 51 yards, that made the stats feel much better than it actually was. But I'm at that point again where if you need 2, if you need 3, are you going to be able to just move people around to get the 2 or 3?
To your point about how that long run kind of fixes some things, 164 rush yards and 5.1 yards per carry, both the best that Ohio State has had since the game against Ohio. But again, it didn't feel like that is something, right? It's like you feel so good about the passing game. You feel so good about just how explosive this team can be. You still love the defense. Although Penn State had one great drive.
Yes, they did.
Against that Matt Patricia defense.
Well, Ohio State just couldn't adjust to what they were doing, right? There was pullers
and they ran the
over
ball.
the edge, and they were running the football. And if that, to me, felt more like a Penn State found an advantage in the scheme. But once Ohio State adjusted to it, they were right back to what they're doing. To get back to the run game, the right side of Ohio State's offensive line is a little bit of a problem for me. The right guard position in particular is an issue. And this is in the run game and in the pass game. To the left, I feel fine. To the right, that is a question. And when they play more defensive lines that have Sunday guys like Penn State, you start to sweat it out just a little bit more.
Let's talk about another big storyline from the weekend. And this was Texas beating a top 10 Vanderbilt team. They've been in the top 10 of the AP poll for 2 weeks. It feels like Arch Manning might be back Like, is this the Arch Manning quarterback that we thought we were going to see earlier in the season? Like, it feels, and again, okay, he's not like a Heisman front runner, but it feels like he's playing so much more confident and he's making decisions faster. And like the ball is coming out of his hand better. Like we were talking all the time in September, like he's throwing it from the side.
Yeah, it was
like
a little wonky.
He's short hopping it. Like now these look like throws.
Yeah, it's still like a little shot putty, but it feels like a much more confident throwing motion,
Since
right?
really the fourth quarter against Mississippi State.
Yes.
Then he had the concussion. He gets knocked out of the game.
But I mean,
comes back and then 25 of 33, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions.
The fourth quarter was one of those, I believe, performances. Our back is against the wall. People have said all kinds of crazy stuff to us. Yes.
Yeah.
And now it's just like, okay, well, they can't say anything else, so I might as well go out there and ball.
He's already been called the first flop of college football history.
And I think once that got out the way, that's where it's kind of like, well, screw it. I'm going to play my game, and I'm going to just keep, I'm going to keep chopping, as guys like to say, and I'm going to get much better. I think Sark has also developed a game plan that works better for them. He's trying to run the ball with a little bit more consistency.
They're definitely running the ball better. Like that is an adequate run game.
No doubt. But they use the pass game as an extension of the run on early downs where first play of the game, they get it out there on the edge. Wasn't even a great pass.
Behind the line of scrimmage.
They get it out there on the edge, and that's an 80-yard score for you. That, to me, is the way that this offense should be evolving. A more confident quarterback, but also schematically, he's being supported much better.
Vanderbilt made a comeback in this game, like the final score, and really the fourth quarter. Like they had a chance. They had a chance.
I know, but I mean, it's like half of their yards came in the fourth quarter.
Correct.
Like they had a chance. And like Texas, you can't break down like that. But to me, that game felt like Texas saying, we have the better talent roster. We feel like we're a better team, and we're tired of your story right now.
Which that was the narrative coming into the game that we said. We said this is a test for Vanderbilt against better athletes.
Yes. 100%.
Can they win these types of games? And for a long time in that game, they looked outmatched.
No doubt. And it's a question, too, that I had with Vanderbilt where, like, I don't look at that Missouri win the way other people might because Missouri's quarterback got hurt in that game when it was tight. I don't look at the win over LSU the way other people might look at it because I've been saying since week 2 I don't think LSU is a good football team. And so now you have this Vanderbilt team, and to me, I'm asking, where is the good win? And they play a team with a better talent profile than them. Got to go on the road to do it, and this is where you see the
So, two interesting things from the playoff picture. We'll get to our questions heading into the first rankings. I still think Vanderbilt's going to be in the bracket, in the first bracket. But now you do have an intriguing scenario where Texas is not dead yet. They're a 2-loss SEC team, 4 straight wins. They're going to have some good wins on their schedule.
I didn't want to bring it up when we were doing our show during the halftime, but I was getting ready to be like, well, what about Texas?
How far off are they?
Yes, because you have a loss to Ohio State, which a lot of people would have a loss to Ohio State, and all of a sudden their resume looks better.
Close loss to Ohio State.
Yeah.
And like this, you can say, hey, this team has changed and blah, blah, blah. It's just wild. A week ago, we're like, oh my God, they barely survived 2 of the worst teams in the SEC in overtime. And now we're like, hey, they're starting to round into form.
Which I'm going to continue to hate on teams that squeak by in games, but this feels like a year where just winning is the thing.
I would agree with that. Last big story of the day, it was Miami.
Oh, man.
Miami now has 2 ACC losses.
Miami's a liar because they fooled me.
They fooled all of us. Yeah. They are the biggest disappointment in the second half of this season because at the midpoint, we're still thinking they might be the number 2 seed in the playoff. We think they're head and shoulders above everybody else in the ACC. Now, they've got 2 league losses. They're not going to get to the ACC championship game. It's not like mathematically eliminated yet, but we could say that. And they're all but eliminated from the playoff conversation. The only thing that they have is that win over Notre Dame. And maybe that helps them down the road. But these are 2 not good losses. And by the way, Carson Beck threw 6 interceptions in those 2 losses. And of course, the lasting image is the interception in overtime. And then, of course, SMU, and they rush the field and all of that.
Well, the Carson Beck interception thing is like, that's going to bother a lot of people. Georgia fans are rejoicing because they can say that they were right about Carson. And Miami fans are like, you fooled us very early in the year. You fooled me as well with the way that he was playing. I do think it's this interesting thing, though, where if they win out, we still feel like their path to the playoff is very narrow. Because if we're looking at a Big Ten team with that resume, we're probably like, oh, they're going to be in, right? So, like.
That's life in the ACC and the Big 12. But also, again, it will be just Notre Dame. They don't have any ranked opponents left.
No, I mean, again, but it's I know it was 1 loss Indiana, like, barely snuck in, but it's kind of like the okay, and they have the advantage over Indiana where it's like, oh, look at all the shiny toys that they have. It'll be an interesting conversation, but I think that the door is shutting.
Miami collapse.
Oh,
we
it's
saw
bad.
this last year. Last year, the defense just completely folded on them.
Game management.
Game management, penalties,
Sure.
just the same old for Miami, and it might cost them a CFP berth. We'll find out more on Tuesday, actually. Elsewhere in college football, before we get to the in-progress game, because as we often do on Saturdays, we're recording during the primetime action. There's some interesting games we'll get to in just a second. So results that we saw earlier in the day. Georgia, stop me if you've heard this before, came back in the fourth quarter to win a game.
It is
4.5 minutes for the final touchdown that pulls them away in this one.
It's such a wild thing. And like I feel like this one actually felt different than some of the other ones.
Well,
because
it's a rivalry game, and there's like a little bit more from Florida.
Just
new
from
coach.
the way that they actually played. Like I didn't feel like first half Georgia was like, terrible.
It was a very even game, really, throughout. Yeah.
And like I think they just played their game the whole way through. My takeaway from that is like, I think Georgia is at a different level in terms of their height, but in terms of their fight, like they're as good as they've ever been.
You can't rule them out in any game because of the way that they always believe they can win the games.
Yes.
And the win over Ole Miss will really help as we're like jockeying for position in the playoff rankings and all of that. But yeah, like this feels so different than like the championship Georgia teams.
No doubt. I mean, it is a team. It feels like things are harder for them offensively. Sometimes it's a slog, and on defense, it's not like.
Well, but that's harder too.
Yes, the suffocating defenses that we were used to seeing, they're just not that this year. But they have the skill of winning, which is the most important skill in this sport.
A couple other interesting results. So Texas Tech pulled away late as well. So they're still out there with one loss in the Big 12. Houston lost to West Virginia.
So what the hell is going on over there?
I don't know.
Like I genuinely, as I've sat through this day, like I would need an hour to parse through.
So BYU's off this week, so they are through, and they're playing Texas Tech next week. Game day will be there. So like we'll learn about those two teams. We're recording this before Cincinnati, Utah, so that'll give us some more clarity as well. But I do still worry about this league, and we've said this in the summer, that there will be just like too much cannibalizing to get multiple teams into the playoffs.
Well, the big leagues are bad too, and we've talked about this plenty of times, but like the idea that you can have so many similar records because maybe not enough of the good teams play the other good teams and vice versa, although there's not a ton of separation in that conference, it feels really difficult to try to figure out the paths. Like you need a real mathematician on set.
Do you want to try to talk about another league that's got a lot of confusing situations?
I mean, it might get clear after this weekend, so
that's
let's talk
true.
about
Georgia Tech is losing.
Yes.
as we're dealing with this. And actually, I probably should have teased the American because you have like 6 teams with 1 loss.
Jeez. Those games are so fun.
They are so fun. So North Texas beats Navy.
Yes.
So there's no unbeaten teams in that conference. The winner of the American, I'm very confident, especially after Boise State lost, will be the CFP representative for the group of 5.
Mm-hmm.
Just have no idea who it's going to be.
Yeah, I don't know. Don't ask me.
I put Memphis in our bracket that we had for our late show on Saturday because, I don't know, it's as good as any. It's like throwing a dart at a wall.
It's literally throwing darts.
Yeah,
Exactly
you just don't know. And again, not everyone's playing each other, but we'll get some more clarity over the stretch run of the season.
Real quick, the Colorado fans are doing the shirts off thing, and I'm sick and damn tired.
I am tired of the shirts off thing. It jumped the shark after like 1 week.
It did.
At least Colorado is doing it as they're losing by almost 40 points.
Well, it was meant for bad teams.
Yes, it's supposed to be for bad teams.
And
now you've got like good teams doing it, and everyone's just. It's not funny.
Like let's
have a new creative trend.
I'm sitting here thinking about saving for my children to go to school one day, and like if I ever saw my kid out there with this shirt off, waving it around, I'd be like, why am I paying tuition? Like, this is what you're doing with your free time?
No, if I were a student, I don't think it's a bad thing. Like, I think they're having fun.
No. I'm not saying as a parent, I'm paying for you to go to school, and this is what you think you want to do with your time? Like,
you don't want your child to be a meme at a college football game?
I am withdrawing you from school. I'm sending you to a school with no football program.
But I can't then interview them and do this, like, really fun story about someone who went viral at a college
It's the wrong reason to get interviewed.
Okay, so let's talk about the ACC. Again, a lot of this stuff might be outdated if Georgia Tech comes back a little bit, but right now,
explosive Georgia.
Yeah, there they go.
Tech
all right, so as we're recording this, Georgia Tech is unbeaten in the ACC. That may not stay for long. Virginia is technically unbeaten in ACC play.
Technically,
they lost to NC State earlier in the year, and NC State's the team that is currently beating Georgia Tech, which they're good for this.
Yes,
but it was a non-conference game, so it does not affect Virginia's spot in the standings. They had another crazy game that came down to it. The pick six pulls away. I'm never picking Cal again.
Oh, don't worry. There are a lot of teams I can't pick anymore.
Well, everyone you pick is always losing. But but Cal was close. It was like a 3-point game, and then his pick six, and they lose by, 10?
Yeah, with like 30 seconds left.
Yeah, so that was really tough. But Virginia just wins these games. Like, I don't even know how they're doing it.
I mean, again, they have the winning skill. Like, good for them. I think our question is, like, is this a scalable skill for them?
Yeah, are they really like a top 15 team,
Right.
or are they just like
Getting
coming on the
by.
right side of all these one-score games?
And, like, I'm not exactly sure we get to figure that out.
Let's go through a problem that a team that we think is good suddenly has, and that's Notre Dame. They've got a kicking problem. So 2 missed point afters and a 35-yard field goal. 3 different kickers missed in this game against Boston College. Great quote from Marcus Freeman after the game. He got asked, hey, what are the kicking issues? He said the issues were every time we kicked the ball, it did not go through the field goal post. So that's the issue. And we're going to keep putting guys in there until we consistently have someone who can put the football through the field goal post. And we have 3 kickers. But if you rotate 3 kickers, you don't have 1.
I mean, they should call the kid from Vandy, who I know would be able to transfer because it's Vandy.
Crushed it on the
he can
Pat
get in.
McAfee kick.
Yes, call that guy.
I mean, it's so weird. And obviously, like, the hold cost them earlier in the year. This is usually a program that's really good on special teams. And
all their special teams outside of that have been very good
this
year.
year. It's like the point after. It's like the easiest part of special teams.
I know. It's the one that's the afterthought.
Did Georgia Tech just score?
No, they didn't. That was an incomplete pass.
All right, I'm just saying.
I know. I'm watching it too.
I know. We're trying to keep up with it.
That's crazy. Helmet stickers.
Helmet stickers. Go ahead.
All right, so I'm going to go with SMU. First win over a top 25 team since 1983. Rhett Lashley with the new money, new deal. And that's been a fun program, I think, for you and I to watch. They have some really explosive players on both sides of the ball. Not there, obviously, as a complete team, but to pull off a win like that and to do it in an instance where you haven't done it in 40 years, like, that is amazing stuff.
They
to
had
watch.
like Eric Dickerson back.
I know
Everyone was back. They were
the people
celebrating
back.
their history.
I know.
They
Stormed
lost
the field.
goalposts. Yeah,
Yes.
like it was great.
It was college football.
And you do love to see that for these coaches that are deciding to stay put.
No doubt.
And he decided to do that. He's been attached to Arkansas.
A lot of guys getting paid right now. The midseason firing might not be the greatest idea.
It is giving people a lot of time to negotiate. So that's an interesting dynamic. Okay, my helmet sticker is going to Mississippi State. You're talking about it's been a while since something happened. First SEC win since October 21st, 2023, which was a win that also came against Arkansas. They came back. They were down 14 in the fourth quarter. Bobby Petrino's Arkansas team just really, the offense, which that's what Bobby Petrino's known for. At the very end, it was gone. And this was just one of those moments. They've been really close in a lot of SEC games this year. They have had heartbreakers after heartbreakers. So congratulations to Jeff Lebby and Mississippi State for getting that number 1 in the win column.
Petrino's not getting that job, huh?
Well, we kind of thought he'd have to win a couple of these games, right? Down the stretch?
You can't let somebody get their first SEC win on you and expect to get the job.
So he hasn't had one yet.
It's a big yikes.
Well, you don't want him to get the job.
I don't, but I'm just putting that out there. It doesn't feel like he should get it.
That might be right. Lastly, we're going to talk about some in-progress games. Plus, we're going to look ahead to the first college football playoff rankings from the selection committee, which will come out on Tuesday. Joshua, you want to start with your underdog pick here? Was this your super dog?
No, this was a regular dog. Could have qualified as a super dog, but I felt good about it. I picked Wake Forest to cover against Florida State. It's like 10 some change. It's 28-0 right now. My super dog got their doors blown off, which I should have known that was a mistake. I think I'm finished with the picks.
I'm going to make you do them for the end of the season. We're so close. It's already November, but we should probably tell people to bet the opposite.
Fade Joshua.
You need to stop betting on Indiana not to cover.
Well,
they don't know how to stop scoring.
In
like
my
they
defense,
cannot take their foot off the gas
I'm
pedal.
the biggest Nico Iamaleava fan. I have the jersey at home, so I picked UCLA to cover, big number. And then Maryland 4-0 against the spread as an underdog.
I told you
and
this
so
is a bad idea,
picked them.
though.
The numbers lied to me. My emotions got the best of me when I picked UCLA. I'm done with the picks.
My super dog was SMU. There
What
we go.
about your
Give me a high
underdog?
five.
What about your
My
underdog?
other pick
what about the other
was
one?
Cal,
Yeah,
and I'm out
yeah,
on them. But
yeah.
I also did say that we'd get at least one ACC upset. So we got that one with
I
SMU
kinda-
over Miami. And right now, NC State leads Georgia Tech by 8. 4 minutes to go in the third quarter. This was one of them, right? Like, this was one of the potential chaos results in the ACC because NC State does this.
I had like a 1.5 out of 3 of my Imagine That, where Ohio State slogged through the first half of their game, and they did. That was
Georgia was much more of like a real slog.
It was.
So that's your one.
That was the one. The Ohio State was the half.
What was your third?
Well, I said if Indiana looks a little, which at the beginning of the game, they threw an interception early. But my whole thing was,
they do that, and then they're fine.
What if the top teams that were playing this weekend ended up looking a little iffy? And I think we're starting to see some of this idea that, like, you might look iffy. Winning's at a premium right now.
Well, and, especially for a team that just, it's so much on Haynes Kings. Like, can he survive a season and not be exhausted?
Yeah, Nebraska just missed a field goal as we're watching this right now, 14-6.
And Dylan Raiola is out of the game, so he got crunched by the defensive line, and it's an ankle, it looks like. But right now, so they're still up 14-6 on USC. That game has gone, to this point, very similarly to what we expected, right? Didn't we talk about both teams were going to try to run the ball and establish that?
Yes.
This has been, I mean, maybe something's off with Jaden Mayava, but also Nebraska's pass defense might be real. Like, they really limited that in the first half.
Yeah, I think it's a combination, right? Like, I don't want to disrespect Nebraska's pass defense because they made the windows tight. Mayava was missing. Like, he was short, he was high, he was low. And they had the one that was basically a touchdown if he just throws the ball and underthrew it. We had talked about this early in the week. We talked about it on the show. The headline was certainly going to be the quarterbacks.
Yep.
If you watch the tape of either one of these teams, you knew it was the run game that could be the difference. And USC has run it well, and Nebraska has run it well. And I think it's just going to be one of those things. Can you create that one play that might swing the game?
And something's going to give. You guys are going to be listening to this on Sunday. You'll know. It's either Nebraska finally beat a ranked opponent for the first time in 29 tries, or Lincoln Riley finally won like a big game on the road in the Big Ten. So we will cover that one up in the midweek episode of Rushing the Field as well. Other in-game thoughts that you've got so far? Oklahoma? Texas?
Yeah, I'm the Oklahoma-Tennessee deal.
16-10 Oklahoma right now as we start second
Their
half.
defense has been phenomenal. They've hit Joey Aguilar. They've really kept their offense in this game. It's one of those where, like, both of the offenses look a little bit iffy. Tennessee was another one of those teams where I asked who did they beat? Like, what was the win for them? And it ended up being 2 losses to good teams that are their best win up to this point. So this outcome, I think, is going to be an intriguing one because I think it'll tell us about Tennessee. But that's also from me not believing in Oklahoma either. So
well, and I'll be very curious where the committee ranks these types of teams because I think as we head into the first rankings from the committee on Tuesday, the things that I'm most interested in, Joshua. So I feel like everyone's going to have the same top 4, right? In some capacity, some order. I would go Ohio State, Indiana, then I would go Texas A&M because they're unbeaten, and then Alabama. Some people are going to say, hey, Alabama's, on this run.
Top 25 wins.
Yeah, the wins. And you just kind of discount. They're a totally different team than when they played Florida State.
Right.
I don't know if the committee's going to do that right off the bat. Maybe
right off the
not.
bat. Yeah.
But A&M's got some good wins too.
No doubt.
And so we'll see. I think those are generally the top 4. I think, if Ole Miss hangs on and wins, you've got Georgia and then Ole Miss in the 5 and 6 range. I think after that, you could make any argument you want for what order you're going to put those teams, including the ACC champ, including the Big 12 champ. Oregon might be lower than people realize because they don't have any good wins.
Not at all.
I don't know what's going to happen there.
And I think the key thing that you said there is make an argument. One of the things that I really like about the first release is the idea that we get to understand what this current committee looks at and what they value and the things that, like, their thought process into actually ranking the teams. And so to your point, I think this is a year where their thought process is going to be more important than other years because it's not clear, right?
And these teams aren't all going to play each other.
Right.
To fill it out for all of us.
But like you and I could look at the same resumes this year or the same teams this year and be like, well, I like this metric about them. I think it's more important to their ability to play in the postseason. You might think it's something else.
Who has the bigger voice? Like, who can convince people in that room too? Okay, so I think Notre Dame is going to be the most interesting team to see how the committee evaluates them. Obviously, with 2 losses, they had been the highest-ranked 2-loss team in the AP poll for a while. Vandy now has 2 losses. I would put them ahead of Notre Dame. But also, Miami lost. So now does that head-to-head result come into play? Does that box Notre Dame out? I would put the Irish in. But there's arguments for a lot of different things that you could do. I think there's separation between the Irish and Miami.
I think Notre Dame is playing better football than Miami today, and I think that is evident. So it's
kind of ugly against BC.
Well, yes, they didn't lose. Like, that's a game that I'd be like, Miami's going to lose that game. This is the issue to me, is Notre Dame, their 2 losses early in the year to 2 teams that we liked. We don't like who Miami lost to, and that's the big difference to me.
It's going to be really interesting. Yeah. We'll recap it on the midweek episode. This is Rushing the Field, presented by Xfinity.